You
So
know,
there are a couple
so-
of things in that regard. I mean, it could be how, when you said it's done, so that could mean that I'm on the.
That would be between us, I mean amongst us, not maybe the public. Now, that may drive another issue in the public that, well, why did you vote that way? And have a different kind of a conversation there. But as far as I'm concerned, amongst the five of us, as far as I'm
It
concerned.
can never become personal.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes how the conversation goes is, okay, that vote was that vote. And I left that one there, and we go on to the next issue, and the next issue is the next issue. And so when you said done is done, that's one take on it that I've heard, which is, we settle this, we move on to the other, there's nothing that holds over from one to the other.
Okay, done is done may not be done in the public's eye, because they may come back to you and say, why did you vote the way you did? But as far as I'm concerned on this board, I'm not going to, the way Greg expressed it, I don't want it to become personal. And you can't accomplish anything if you start bickering on a personal basis. Well, why did you vote like that, blah, blah, blah. I may talk to somebody about, okay, I voted opposite an individual, and go to them and say, and explain to them why I voted that way, but it's not a criticism of the way they voted. It's just, I may have detected that they didn't understand the issue the way I did, and I just wanted them to understand, this is why I did it, and I'm done with it.
Do you all have an agreement about sharing the rationale like that?
Not a formal agreement, no.
What would you like to agree on in terms of if you, say you had a 3-2 split and you did have a difference of opinion, and it took me a long time to realize that actually somebody else could have an equally valid different opinion of the same situation. And so it is what it is. But what kind of agreement would you all like to have in terms of how that gets taken outside of your boardroom? You suggested sort of, it's okay to explain the rationale, but the group decision was, the group then decided this is the direction we go, and I support that.
Right. Well, I would support the decision. That's not a problem, and I may, pick on Greg. If Greg voted an opposite than I did, I may have a discussion with him for a minute or two, and just say, because I might have detected that he didn't understand exactly why I did it. I'm not criticizing what he that's his right to vote that way, and I'm not going to criticize him for that, but I might do just a quick
Share your reasoning?
Just share my reasoning very quickly and go on, and then may have to deal with the public. Probably will have to deal with, depending on the severity or not severity, that's the wrong term, but the sensibility of that issue at that time for the public, and then have to share why I voted that way to the public. That's a different situation.
Well, I think this is an important thing as a new group that you all get some clarity about. So I've heard from Bill, and I'd like to hear, I think, from others, whether you can have some agreement on how you handle that internally with each other, and then externally with the public. So, other viewpoints?
I think that from the public's perception, or Board of County Commissioners, that even if it's a 3-2 vote, 4-1 vote, when we leave the commissioner room, it should be a unanimous decision that this is what was voted on. I voted against it, but now we're moving ahead, and I'm for it.
Okay. Bud, you were going to say?
If you go back to the discussion, transparency, making it available to the public, all this will become a moot point from the public standpoint and from the Board of Commissioners. Because if it's discussed, you have full and complete knowledge, you make that available to the public, it solves everyone's problem.